The morning sun spills over white fences and whispering lawns, gilding a street where every mailbox gleams the same. Coffee brews. Sprinklers hiss and laughter echoes faintly from unseen yards. A neighborhood rehearsing perfection. But beneath the rhythm of suburbia, something trembles. A woman stands at her kitchen window, smiling at nothing, her reflection fractured by sunlight. She rehearses the motions, the packed lunches, the gentle kiss, the parting wave, yet her eyes linger on the clock, ticking towards something that doesn't belong to this life. Somewhere, far from these clean driveways, another world stirs, one with passwords, briefcases, and coded calls. The hum of a dishwasher hides a heartbeat of fear, and the day begins like any other, beautifully, deceptively ordinary. The phone rings just as Laura reaches for her car keys. 3 short tones, too sharp, too deliberate. She freezes, every domestic sound shrinking into silence. The coffee machine clicks off. The clock ticks. Somewhere beyond the glass, the world continues its gentle suburban hum, unaware that her morning has just split in half. She lets it ring once more before answering. A man's voice, smooth and low, says only, "Change of plans." Then, click. No name, no explanation. The air in the kitchen seems to thicken. She stares at the receiver in her hand. The hum of the line, fading into something hollow. For a moment, she looks almost weightless, as if the gravity that held her here has shifted. Outside, a neighbor waves. She waves back. The mask holds. By the time Laura steps outside, the world has already reset itself. Lawns shimmer with dew. Birds gossip from maple branches. Mrs. Adler is tending to her roses, pruned to near mathematical perfection. Laura crosses the driveway with a calm too careful to be real. They exchange small talk, the kind built to conceal everything underneath. Mrs. Adler laughs, mentions strange men driving through the neighborhood last night. Laura smiles. The laugh comes a beat too late. She compliments the roses and escapes behind her car door. The engine starts. But for a moment, she doesn't move. Her eyes flick to the rearview mirror, searching for something that isn't there. Just a reflection of herself, smiling. Laura drives to the community center, every turn precise, every glance rehearsed. She parks in her usual spot, steps out, and carries a simple manila folder pressed close to her chest. Inside it, nothing that should belong to a mother on her way to a PTA meeting. Numbers, names, roots, the coded skeleton of a life she buried years ago. She walks through glass doors, her heels sharp against the tile. Smiling faces greet her. She returns each one flawlessly. But behind her calm exterior, the weight of the folder seems heavier with each step. Upstairs, someone waits in an office filled with sunlight and lies. The office smells of lemon polish and secrets. Laura sits across from him, that same folder between them on the desk. He smiles. Not warm, not cruel, but knowing. "You're late," he says. She replies softly. The phone call changed the drop. His eyebrow arches, amused. Silence stretches, filled only by the faint buzz of fluorescent light. Her hands stay still, her breath steady. He opens the folder. The paper whispers. Numbers and coded transfers glint under the light. "You've done well," he says, voice velvet over steel. "Now, forget this ever existed." She nods, rises, and turns toward the door. But her reflection in the glass betrays a flicker of fear and the faintest trace of relief. Evening brings stillness to the Benson home, but beneath the calm, tension coils. The day has folded neatly into dinner plates and television glow. Yet Laura feels something tugging from beneath the surface. She reaches for her purse, intending to pay a bill, and freezes. A single receipt, foreign, wrong, slips out. It bears the name of a warehouse outside town. She never went there. Or perhaps she did. The date matches yesterday. The date matches yet. Her mind scrambles through excuses she'll never use. Ethan sits in the living room, laughing faintly at the news. She folds the receipt carefully, slides it back, and presses the leather shut. The sound is small but final, like a door closing on something that once stayed buried. Morning brings rain, the kind that blurs the world into watercolor. When Laura opens her door, a badge greets her before a smile does. Detective Marla Hayes, polite but firm, asks about the community fundraiser, about missing funds, about a transaction that shouldn't exist. Laura's heart flickers, but her voice remains steady. She invites her in, pours coffee, performs kindness like theater. Hayes studies her as one studies art, admiring the precision, doubting the authenticity. Their conversation dances between small talk and interrogation. By the time Hayes leaves, Laura's perfect composure feels thinner than the porcelain cup she holds, and somewhere deep inside she knows it's begun. That night, Ethan's silence weighs heavier than words. He doesn't ask outright, not yet, but his glances linger. He notices the way Laura checks the locks twice, the way her phone never leaves her hand. Over dinner, the conversation drifts to nothing. Weather, work, the neighbor's dog. She laughs in all the right places. Still, he studies her like a riddle. Later, he finds the receipt again, this time folded beneath a stack of mail. He stares at it, brows tightening. When he returns it to her purse, he does so carefully, like placing evidence back at a crime scene. Upstairs, Laura's reflection stares into the mirror, practicing calm. Neither of them sleeps. The message comes at midnight, a low vibration on the nightstand, barely audible. Laura slips from bed, phone in hand, into the hallway's shadow. The message is short. Tomorrow. Same place. Her breath falters. The screen's glow paints her face pale ghost-like. From the bedroom, Ethan stirs, mutters her name. She hides the phone behind her back, whispers she's checking on Noah. She walks down the hall, but her steps lead to the study. The glow from the screen reflects in the laptop's black monitor. Her fingers tremble as she deletes the text, then deletes the deletion. Downstairs, the refrigerator hums, a small machine keeping secrets cold. Rain again. Laura waits in her car outside the same warehouse named on the receipt. The world feels muted, the radio whispering static. Simon appears in her passenger seat without knocking, calm as always. "You're being watched," he says. Her fingers tighten on the steering wheel. He explains about Detective Hayes, about Ethan's curiosity. Every word lands like a hammer against thin glass. She asks what to do, but he's already decided. "Stay close to your family," he says, voice low. "And remember who owns the truth." When he leaves, she remains still, breath fogging the windshield. For a long time, she doesn't start the car. The rain hides her tears perfectly. Detective Hayes returns. No warrant, just conversation disguised as courtesy. She asks about the fundraiser again, this time with names and figures. Laura answers with perfect cadence, voice calm, eyes steady. Yet something in her stillness unsettles Hayes. A lifetime of lies always leaves residue, the subtle choreography of guilt. The detective sips her coffee slowly, watching Laura watch her. Outside, a siren wails and fades, like a memory brushing past. Hayes closes her notebook, thanks her for the time. But before she leaves, she glances toward the study door and smiles slightly, as though already knowing what waits behind it. As soon as Hayes leaves, Laura exhales like someone surfacing from underwater. She moves quickly now, measured, silent. In the study, she kneels before the desk, slides open a false bottom, and retrieves a small silver flash drive. Her pulse hammers. It holds everything. Codes, accounts, and the one file Simon swore must never exist. She hesitates, staring at it under the lamplight. It seems to hum faintly, as though aware of its power. Footsteps upstairs. Ethan, moving too soon. Laura pockets the drive and turns off the lamp. The house plunges into quiet shadow, her reflection faint in the dark window, divided by lines of rain. Ethan can't sleep. The rain keeps him awake, or maybe it's the silence between rooms. He wanders downstairs, intending to apologize for doubting her, but the sight stops him cold. Her purse, half open on the couch. Inside, a second phone. He lifts it carefully, thumb brushing its cracked screen. No lock. Messages appear, names he doesn't know, numbers linked to nowhere. One reads, "Delivery confirmed." He drops it as if burnt. Upstairs, a floorboard creaks. He hides the phone quickly, heart racing. He doesn't yet know which truth is worse, the one he suspects, or the one still hiding. Detective Hayes sits in her car, windshield wipers fighting the rain. She reviews the files again, transactions tied to charities, schools, and Laura's name. Coincidences stacked too neatly. She circles one entry, a warehouse near the river, the same one Laura's receipt revealed. The case had been small, local. But now it feels larger, pulsing beneath the surface of suburbia. Hayes starts the engine, her expression hardening. Somewhere in that network of perfect lawns and PTA committees, someone is running a criminal empire. And she intends to find out who, no matter what it costs. Laura returns home late, soaked and trembling. Inside her purse, the phone buzzes again, this time with a video. She opens it and freezes. It's footage of her meeting with Simon, recorded from the warehouse. A message follows. "We know." Her vision swims. She looks around the dark kitchen, the hum of the refrigerator suddenly deafening. The house feels alive, listening. Upstairs, Noah stirs in his sleep. She presses the phone to her chest, desperate to steady her heartbeat. Then she types one word back. "Why?" No reply comes. Only the glow of the screen, fading like a dying star. The elevator dings, and Laura steps into a space that smells of polished concrete and quiet power. This is her other world. Glass walls, humming machines, and the faint buzz of surveillance cameras. Simon waits in a sleek chair, reviewing files on 3 screens. His presence is magnetic, impossible to ignore. Laura moves through the room with practiced calm, a folder tucked under her arm. Every step measured, every glance sharp. She opens her laptop, the glow illuminating her face, calm yet haunted. Outside, the city moves oblivious. Here, every second is accounted for. Every word is a calculation, and she knows that one mistake, just one, could collapse everything she has built. A conference room, stark and dimly lit. Laura sits across from 2 unknown figures, faces shadowed, eyes sharp. Papers and coded files are pushed back and forth, hands moving like instruments of precision. No one speaks loudly. Every word is deliberate. Laura's fingers tap on the table, mimicking calm, while her mind calculates risk, opportunity, and escape routes simultaneously. She knows her family is worlds away, untouched, sleeping, oblivious. And yet the thought of Ethan and Noah gnaws at her chest. Every instruction, every nod she gives here threads through her domestic life like a silent predator, invisible but deadly. Back at home, Laura peers through her blinds. A black SUV lingers across the street, tires idling softly. The rain has returned, misting the windows. Her pulse tightens. Simon had warned. Watchers always look for patterns. Every neighbor, every jogger, could be a signal. She notes their positions, times, and movements, scribbling numbers into a small notebook. Her domestic life, quiet and mundane, now feels like camouflage. A knock on the door. Just the mail. Nothing else. But in the hum of suburban normalcy, Laura senses the undercurrent of danger, a reminder that even here, she is never fully safe. Simon calls her into the office late at night. His voice is calm, measured, but every syllable carries gravity. "You're slipping," he says. Laura swallows, heart hammering. She knows she is. She feels it in every flicker of doubt and hesitation. He slides a tablet across the desk. Images of her family, timestamps, innocuous gestures that are now pieces of leverage. Laura looks, stomach tightening, every instinct screaming. She meets his gaze, voice steady despite the tremor she feels inside. "I know what I'm doing," she says. But Simon's slight smile tells her it isn't enough. He leaves her with one word: balance. And as he departs, the office feels colder, smaller, more suffocating than ever. Laura drives through the city at 2 a.m., streetlights painting streaks of gold across her windshield. The folder sits beside her, Simon's notes marking every route, every contingency. Her hands tighten on the wheel as the memory of Ethan and Noah tugs at her chest. She repeats the mantra Simon taught her: control the chaos. But chaos is not hers alone. It resides in the balance of two lives she cannot abandon. One wrong turn, one misstep, and the veneer of suburban peace will shatter. For now, she drives, calm in execution, heart pounding in secrecy. The night stretches ahead, empty, obedient, waiting for the choices she must make. Ethan can't sleep. He moves silently through the house, eyes scanning corners, drawers, and counters he has memorized. The second phone hidden in Laura's purse pulses faintly. He lifts it, scrolling through messages, receipts, and photos. Names appear, some familiar, some ominously foreign. The realization hits like cold water. Laura has been keeping a secret life. Fear and disbelief collide. He backs away quietly, trying to imagine a motive, a reason, any excuse to reconcile what he knows with the woman he loves. Upstairs, Noah stirs in his sleep, innocent and unknowing. Ethan's hands tremble. There's no turning back now. Detective Hayes pieces together anomalies. Unusual donations, coded messages, warehouse visits. Her intuition sharpens into obsession. She drives past the Benson residence, watching patterns of arrivals and departures, noting familiar faces. Every observed gesture, every subtle hesitation in Laura's movements becomes a clue. The neighborhood seems tranquil, obedient, but Hayes knows better. Beneath the pristine lawns, deceit thrives. The puzzle begins to form, edges cutting close to Laura's perfect facade. Each observation tightens the invisible net. Late evening, Laura returns from a secret meeting with Simon. Still drenched from rain, Ethan meets her at the door. The conversation begins casually, almost normal, but tension coils like steel wire. A misplaced phrase, a question left unanswered. Suspicion explodes into accusation. Laura's calm facade falters for the first time in weeks. The walls seem closer, smaller, echoing with the words that shouldn't exist. Outside, the wind rattles the mailbox. Inside, hearts pound in synchronized panic. Her life, the domestic and the hidden, presses down, threatening to crush everything she has built. Ethan finds the folder, hidden under a pile of newspapers, slightly damp from the evening rain. He flips it open. Codes, receipts, plans, each page a revelation. His hands shake as he reads names and places he doesn't recognize. The realization hits fully. Laura's other life is vast, calculated, and dangerous. She catches him mid-motion, expression taut. Their eyes meet. A flash of understanding, fear, and betrayal. Words are unnecessary. The folder alone bridges the chasm between love and horror. The evening sun disappears behind clouds. The house feels smaller, the air heavier, and Laura's control begins to slip. Night deepens. Laura retreats to the study, closing the door behind her, heart pounding. Ethan stands outside, door cracked, torn between love and anger. Detective Hayes' vehicle glows in the distance, streetlight reflecting on her notebook as she reviews her observations. The double life Laura maintained is no longer secret. It flickers like a candle threatened by wind. One wrong move could shatter everything. Upstairs, Noah sleeps unaware, the faint hum of his nightlight masking the tremor of his parents' lives. Laura breathes, counting seconds, searching for a path forward, in a house that now feels like both fortress and cage. The evening is heavy, a low fog curling along the quiet suburban streets. A knock shatters the brittle calm of Laura's home. She opens the door to find a man she doesn't recognize. Face partially obscured by shadow, rain dripping from a leather jacket. His tone is calm, almost casual, but every word carries threat. "We need to talk," he says. Laura's pulse surges. Inside, Ethan watches from the living room, suspicion coiled like a spring. The visitor steps forward, close enough that the faint scent of rain-soaked leather mixes with fear. Her carefully constructed life, already fraying, begins to unravel. Inside, words become weapons. The stranger speaks of betrayals and debts, shaking Laura's carefully balanced control. Ethan steps forward, protective instinct mingling with rage. Laura tries to mediate, her voice steady, but tremors betray her fear. The visitor slides a tablet across the counter. Images of Laura leaving the warehouse, Simon, and even her son. Proof that her lives are no longer separate. A gasp escapes Ethan. Laura's heart pounds. One mistake, one misstep, and everything. The house, her family, her freedom could collapse in seconds. Before Laura can respond, Simon appears. Unexpected, commanding, and terrifyingly calm. The visitor freezes. Tension spikes. Simon's eyes sweep over the room, assessing, controlling. Laura exhales, relief and fear mixing. Simon speaks in measured tones. Instructions, warnings, and veiled threats. Ethan realizes the full scope of the danger, the duality of Laura's life crystallizing in a single glance. The house, once a haven, becomes a theater of power and fear. Laura's two worlds, long kept separate, collide with explosive inevitability. Simon reveals the betrayal. Someone close leaked information, forcing their hand. Laura's chest tightens, pulse racing. Ethan listens, horror blooming as he learns how deep the deception runs. The visitor's identity is revealed. A former associate, double-crossed. Laura's hand trembles as she realizes the net has tightened. Threads she believed controlled now unraveling. Every move must be calculated, every breath measured. The family she swore to protect is now directly in the line of fire. Her eyes flick to Noah's bedroom, then to Ethan. Every choice, a dangerous gamble. Chaos erupts. Words escalate into threats. Hands clutch doors, counters, and each other. Laura's mind races, trying to protect Ethan, Noah, and herself simultaneously. Simon moves with precise authority, controlling the room without raising his voice. The visitor attempts defiance, but Simon's calm dominance reserts order. Laura's dual life, a delicate balance for years, now teeters on the edge of collapse. The storm outside mirrors the storm inside. Rain hammering windows, the house echoing shouts, footsteps, and the metallic hum of fear. One wrong breath, one wrong move, and everything shatters. Morning light is pale, fractured by storm clouds. Laura sits in the car outside the warehouse, hands tight on the steering wheel, breath shallow. Simon appears at her window, calm and precise, eyes assessing. "Today it ends," he says. Her heart hammers, knowing the statement applies to both her criminal life and the family she's tried to protect. Every route, every contingency, every lie she has lived flashes through her mind. She nods, voice barely above a whisper. "I understand." The air hums with anticipation. The suburban streets behind her lie empty, a fragile veneer of normalcy that she will never reclaim. Inside the warehouse, everything is stripped to its raw edges. Metal, shadows, and the low hum of electricity. The visitor from Act 6 stands across from Laura, eyes narrowed, realizing too late that Simon has orchestrated this encounter to reveal, control, and punish. Words are exchanged, but their weight is lethal. Laura steps forward, calm yet resolute, a silent force of survival. The confrontation is brief, intense, and devastating. Each movement carries meaning. Lives hang in balance, loyalties tested, and the web of deceit begins to unravel violently. Chaos erupts. The visitor lunges. Simon responds with controlled precision. Laura moves instinctively, protecting herself and others. Alarms ring faintly. A siren in the distance signaling the arrival of outside forces. Detective Hayes finally closing the net. Laura's two worlds collide fully. The criminal underworld she navigated for years, and the family she sought to protect now occupy the same space. One misstep, one hesitation, could destroy everything. And yet, in the center of it all, Laura stands poised, a survivor in the eye of the storm. Laura stands at the threshold of her life, choices crystallizing in seconds. Save her son, protect her husband, or preserve the remnants of a hidden empire? Her reflection shimmers in a metal beam. One face, two lives, countless secrets. She moves decisively, heart racing, steps careful but resolute. In the silence before the storm, she understands the cost. Freedom may survive, but innocence cannot. And as the first external voices pierce the warehouse, Laura chooses, knowing the truth will forever alter the lives intertwined with hers. Morning breaks in soft, hesitant light. The warehouse is quiet. The storm passed. Laura steps outside, trench coat damp, hair still clinging to her face. Ethan waits, hesitant, exhausted, yet alive. Noah runs into her arms, oblivious to the night's terror. Simon is gone, the shadow of his control lingering like a memory. Detective Hayes watches from afar, folder closed, expression unreadable. The collision is over, but the cost remains. Secrets survived, trust fractured, lives forever altered. Laura exhales, knowing the mask has fallen, and yet she moves forward, fragile, scarred, but undeniably alive.